Okay. The leave meeting is on the right on the computer and on the left on the tablet. That's dangerous.
That's worrisome. All right. I have learned it does take a few seconds to actually put us online. I'll wait for all these things to go green. They look green. Awesome. All right. We return to A Crown of Cold Iron in the middle of the action. The party has gone off to investigate a supplier for Lexi and Luz, who seem to have gone missing or simply just quit responding to all forms of contact. You all went and investigated this Fickle Spirits brewery. Fickle Spirits had a run of really excellent different sort of craft beer lines and some other unique alcoholic creations before they had dropped off the radar. And you arrived only to find that they were still in full operation. However, as you were literally taking the tour, you discovered that while the brewery was in operation, the humans running the brewery seemed to have been possessed by kobolds, not draconic tiny creatures, but domestic house spirits, in this case, specifically brewers. The head brewer himself, Conrad Wirtz, was playing host to Vertisnicken, the patron of these beer brewing kobolds, and the troll, the Fey troll lord of beer and alcohol. You went back to try and figure out how to free the workers of the brewery, suspecting perhaps a pact with the kobolds that had gone wrong. But in your process of investigating, you were discovered by Vertisnicken. A fight ensued. Various elements of the brewery floor were animated by Fey magic, and you found yourselves fighting Vertisnicken himself and animated kegs and brewing devices and bottles, one of which fully knocked Auric out. Almost simultaneously, Lexi delivered the final blow on Vertisnicken. He is at least temporarily dispersed, and Auric was left unconscious on the ground, where he encountered the now familiar dark space and the presence that he now believes to be the Phantom Queen, the Lady of Wailing, who had a weirdly maternal vibe. There were very strange mixed impressions of that moment, and Lexi managed to revive Auric with a healing potion. So we return exactly to that moment. Auric, you are still prone on the ground. Your significant other girlfriend, question mark, Vela, is sitting next to you. Lexi is standing over you with an empty potion bottle. Cyrus has just sort of defeathered, which was a strange moment. And we're back. What do y'all want to do?
I was gonna lay here for a little bit. Did we win?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vela is alternating of like painfully tight hug and then like punching you in the shoulder.
Yeah.
You big scaly idiot. Punch, punch.
Yeah.
Squeeze, hug. You are not dying, but you are still a mess. You have like torn strips of sweater now like holding you together in various places.
Your favorite sweater vest.
It's my third favorite sweater vest.
And we did determine it was red, so at least the stains aren't showing. The back of your head still freaking hurts, where the animated swarm of beer bottles just, you put out that fog cloud not knowing they had blind sight, and they got a lucky shot and just dropped you. And your head still feels weirdly heavy.
Ow. I don't have a bottle attached to my head, do I?
It's not stuck in there.
Ow.
I don't feel anything.
Just for fun, make a perception check.
Whopping 11.
You do not have a bottle sticking out of your head. But no, maybe you just imagined it. Your head doesn't feel heavy.
Okay. Good.
I was gonna say, do you have to make a perception check to see if you're wrong?
I will actually have everyone else go ahead and make a perception check too.
Okay.
19.
Oh, I thought I landed on a natural 19, but apparently I landed on a natural 1.
Oh,
So 4.
so Vela is just actually no, I'll roll for Vela. We roll for things. Can never find, there we go. It's like I can never find a page with a roller on it when I need one out of combat. So she has a +4. She got an 18. So Auric, you've just been like knocked flat and had a very strange quasi-spiritual experience. Cyrus, you've also had a weird, bad, strange moment. Vela and Lexi, though, you realize that like there's that heavy silence of like a lot of people standing around and trying not to make noise. You can just sort of see from where you are, all of the workers are like poking their head around the doors. And you all notice the kobolds are still these sort of phantasmal peasant spirit, medieval peasant looking spirits, are still attached to all of these workers. And about when you notice that, you hear a sort of like wet padding sound, like someone with like wet bare feet slapping against concrete. And coming around one of the shelves over to where you all are, you hear a little voice go, yeah, was good fight. Must do again soon, yeah. And Vertisnicken, but much smaller, about maybe 4 feet tall now, still sort of like loosely phantasmal, a little bit transparent, comes around the corner, and he's like swiped a bunch of like bottles off the shelves and just is walking up to you all and like is handing out beers to everybody.
Exactly how it should be done.
Yeah, was good fight. Do again sometime. He crunches the end off of 2 different bottles and just like pounds both of them. And then he just like crunches the bottles after.
Oh, God.
You see him like he like swells back up just a little bit when he does that. Yeah, was good fight. Yes.
Yes.
Having
You
good
were-
time. Not so much good time for brewing, but we fix. No problem.
All right, so 2 questions. First, internal. So Cyrus is still bird-ish or not at all?
I will leave this up to you.
Okay.
Either is acceptable.
Because I think either way, that's definitely the cause of the natural 1. It's just trying to figure out.
What has happened to me?
Yeah.
And so I think maybe it's like you're actively in the process of debirding,
It's like still
Like-
receding. Okay.
Yeah, like, and you can like feel it. There's like a tingliness, like all the places, and the feathers are almost like they're simultaneously like shrinking, but also like sinking back into you.
So
And
he's
your
not quite
nails are,
molting.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not quite molting. It's almost more like they're going back into you. It's a really weird feeling.
Okay.
I bet.
So I think Cyrus will like turn and look at Vertus Nick and go, so where does this leave the, and I forgot if we're calling it a deal or a pact, but
He kept saying pact.
pact. So what is the status of your pact?
Still pact breakers, steal mine.
Nope, not okay.
Sorry.
You lost. New deal.
No, see, pact, one thing. Good drink and fight, other thing. Still pact breakers. Green Hills Brewery, still mine.
You keep saying Green Hill. I thought this place was called, what was it called?
It's called Green Hills Brewery.
I have it. Where is it?
It's called Fickle Spirits.
Thank you.
Spirits.
Brain.
No, it's Green Hills. Makes best beer in Ireland, right here.
How long ago was this pact made?
I don't know. What year is it?
I don't know what year it is.
We tell him.
Give or take 17 centuries, something like that.
Okay.
Very
Okay.
good beer, lasts long time. Yeah.
You're not in a pact with the original pact makers anymore.
He gives you a look like, and brewery here, same building, same spot, make beer, same pact.
But is it the same family? The pact would be with the family, not with the place.
Pact with brewery. Brewery here, make beer, pact.
So if the brewery moves, what happens?
Green Hills Brewery here. Make brewery down road, no care.
So if we take all the equipment and move it, you're done?
No, new brewery, fine. These, and he points to all the equipment. He even points to like the workers. He says, break pact, now mine. We seem to be going in circles.
You do not know how to talk to Faye. I know they're tricksy things.
Screw it. Cyrus is going to shift the mantle into feathers and double draw and point it at him and go, do you understand whose blood I have? You're renegotiating.
Make an intimidation check.
Okay.
You're flat because you have advantage because this is spooky, but you also have disadvantage for something you have not identified yet.
Intimidation +1, 19.
He gives you sort of a critical look. Yeah, big bird boy. Yeah, pretty scary. Verta Sneakin will level with you. Beersall make pact. Verta Sneakin patron for Beersall. Verta Sneakin does not need to be owning brewery. Human Realm Brewery, big trouble, no reason. Not even really here. See? And he holds a hand up, and you can see that it's like kind of ethereal looking. Verta Sneakin want to help, but Beersall pact holders, and he points over at the unconscious body of Conrad and says, other party pact holders, you are strangers blowing stuff up.
I do excel at that. So you want out, but you cannot. It would be unfair, really, to allow a broken pact to go unresolved.
Yeah, see, Dragon Boy, he gets it.
So you speak for the beer soul or not?
Yes, patron of pact holders, speak for pact holders, and get over here. And he waves, and you see three workers run over. It's actually it's Jane, Angel, and the young boy you saw running around earlier. And as they get closer, you can see like these kobolds that are sort of possessing them are a little more distinct. One of them actually seems to be wearing like worn brown, like old monastic garb, which is a very strange look. And the other two are just wearing sort of slightly nicer outfits. They're a little more colorful, a little more clear. The other kobolds look like very, like sort of waifish, thin peasants. These three all kind of have a little bit more of like a rotund earthiness to them. And they run over, slipped back into the voice. They run over and Vertisnikin says, yes, Beersall, this is Holdfellow, Fremlin, and Rush. And Rush is the one in sort of the monastic garb. And they all kind of give you like really nervous, like little bows. And Vertisnikin says, look, all this is big pain in my big yellow-brown seat warmer. What you are tricky human types. What do we do with this?
Well, it seems like the most obvious solution would be a new pact.
Vertisnikin says, yeah, this sounds like maybe workable. And he pokes Rush and points over at the unconscious Conrad and says, go wake him up. there is the loud chomping of fast food happening in the background. This little like floor worker with the rotund monastic kobold floating behind him runs over and like picks up Conrad with more strength probably than the boy alone would have, and kind of gives him like a back and forth. And Conrad kind of splutters like, ugh, ugh, wait, ugh, what's happening? Oh, I have the worst like hangover mouth. What is? And his eyes just go like gigantic, like it pushes his red hair up. It makes like some of the tattoos at the edges of his face go like weird. And he like, you can tell that he is seeing all of the strangeness now. And then he turns around and he sees the massive section of slagged, melted equipment. And he just goes, what? Why? Who would do this?
The troll did it.
The troll did it. And he turns around and sees Troll, Dragonborn, Cyrus with like, like short swords, like, flickering black short swords and the cloak with feathers blown out behind him. And he just goes, I think I missed something.
Okay, short version. Well,
A few somethings.
how long have you been running this brewery?
He basically says about 3 months.
Okay, so you purchased / inherited a 17th century old pact with
These guys.
big guy.
Vertisnicken kind of like waves, and the kobolds behind him kind of wave.
Now, I'm not saying this is your fault, but the pact accidentally got broken, and so bad things happened. And so we're here to help you reforge that pact so that everything can get back on track.
Are they the ones who broke all of my stuff?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Deception check.
7.
He is giving you a look, and Vertisnicken is giving you a look, and just kind of going,
I look right back at Vertisnicken and say, I told you what would happen if you didn't do what we wanted.
And I'll look at Vertisnicken and go, you're the one that made them walk.
Anyway.
So here's the deal. This guy and his compatriots, fantastic brewers, and in fact, not to disparage your fantastic abilities, a big key to the success of this property for centuries. And so,
I mean, kid is pretty good. It's pretty good beer. Beer salt don't help just anybody.
yeah, see?
He makes it extra special.
Yeah, beer salt make good beer perfect.
So what I am proposing to you is that you will reforge the pact with Beersol, which will entail them taking your amazing beer and making it magical, and in return they get a percentage.
When you say percentage, you see one of the rotund kobolds like full like rock to one side and then to the other. And this is the one that was possessing Angel. And you see her eyes start fluttering in a way that you hadn't seen up to this point. And that kobold becomes a little less substantial. And you see her start to wake up and go, wait, what percentage?
Well, that would be for you to iron out with the beer salt.
With the oh.
Oh.
She looks very confused. But we'll kind of fast forward a bit at this point. Negotiations begin.
Cyrus is going to interject try to interject a clause of like negotiations with this family, not with this property.
Yeah.
Make an intelligence check.
Okay. Just straight intelligence?
Yeah.
6.
You insert what you think is a good like protective clause to stop this from happening again, but you actually end up leaving something that's way more dangerous for the future, because it ends up being phrased that like it will be passed down through their bloodline like indefinitely, and we'll have inevitably the same problem at some point down the road.
I was also intending to persuade Vertisniken to insert the clause for the breaking of the pact. The forfeit clause be the forfeiture of all non-living property.
Make a persuasion check.
Yes.
It's not
How's a
time yet.
24?
Yeah, you're able to kind of work that out. I mean, you get the vibe like, for all that this went very, very violent and explosive, like these guys are super chill. Like they just want to make good beer.
Who's Faye?
Yeah, like they want to make good beer and drink good beer. Like that is their fundamental nature. And the idea of like, you know, like a traditional salary or something would just be so alien to them. You know, make good beer, drink good beer. That's their whole game. So they're actually they're surprisingly chill with sort of like renegotiating this pact. As long as that core piece is left in there, that's all they really want. And especially because it's not necessarily something that you gather from any one thing that they say. But the short version is, this hasn't been possible for so long. Like Auric, you're sort of more middle tier Fae, on sort of the spectrum of Fae existences.
Right.
These guys are closer to the bottom. They have a sort of symbiotic relationship built into them between the Fae and the human. And so like they've almost not existed the last 17 centuries, or I guess 15 centuries. Because without that sort of human domestic labor, they have nothing to echo and amplify. They don't generate reality for themselves the same way that humans do, or a more powerful Fae might.
Sorry, our law representative from CATS has made her presence known. She decided to jump on the counter.
Yeah.
She's not allowed on the counter.
Everybody make a perception check.
For cats on counters. 18.
6.
19.
All right. So Lexi, you're trying to sort of follow through, and I think you're helping a lot in terms of like, I mean, a lot of this is your wheelhouse. Like Fey pacts aren't your wheelhouse, but like
Beer is.
yeah, like alcohol production and distribution and all of these things are right up your neck of the woods. So
Yep.
you're very focused ironing out some passage on like, the production of like non-traditional craft brews with something and so you're really focused in on this. And Oric and Cyrus, you all get this weird vibe of being watched. And you turn and you just catch like the tip of a tail disappearing back behind part of the blown out wall where something might have been watching the proceedings. So something else that you gather here in this sort of exchange is that Angel, Conrad's sister and partner, is definitely the brains of the operation. Like she is, you don't know if she maybe has like a business background or a law background or what, but she like is taking these kobolds to town. Like, they're bringing like, this is not the A team of Fey pact making. Like there are Fey nobles who can write contracts that like would put, like packed fiends to shame. But yeah, she's just like hitting every clause, every situation, every conditional, and it's just like they've actually brought out, you can see it now, there's a large ornate old bottle, and it looks like it would hold some kind of very, very valuable very, very old liquor of some kind. And there is a rolled up scroll floating in it. And as they write out this new pact, the old scroll is dissolving into the alcohol. But you see the old scroll is like one page. It looks like it was written on like the equivalent of like a bar napkin. And what they're producing is like, she's like started typing, and this is now like an incredibly long document. So they're going back and forth and doing this. Is there anything else you all want to try and say or do in this process?
Not until the very end.
All right. So pizzas are sent out for, and you see like Vertisnicken fully eats like 2 pizzas by himself.
That's exactly what I would expect of him.
Well, and you do see this weird thing of like sitting at this table with him and Conrad and this bottle. You can see this kind of weird energy circulating between the 3 points. Like they're definitely still connected. But all of the different creatures, human and fey, come in. There's pizza eaten, and this document gets longer and longer and longer. And finally, it's like 8 yellow legal pads and like a Word document, and they get it all put together. Are you looking for like post-pact ratification or like right before?
Yeah,
Okay.
post-pact.
So as they get close to done, Vertisnicken gives the words and Oric, you could vouch for this, basically like words of Fey pact binding. And they speak these words together, and it's this Sylvan incantation, and all of these documents swirl together, and even somehow like stuff sort of flies off the screen and is copied, and they're left with this very like much thicker scroll. It's like this big now, paper all the way through. And these like opalescent gossamer threads sort of like come out of the air, seem to come out of the people and swirl together, and it forms like a ribbon. And the ribbon like ties the pact shut, and then a seal is placed over it, and Vertisnicken and the three kobolds and Angel and Conrad all sort of mark it with a thumbprint. And they bring out a new bottle, one that's something that they've made at Fickle Spirits, but it's like on the high end. And as they sort of chant through all of this, and you all feel this magic running through the place. It's not so crude as to have like a specific school of magic. This is like the deep magic of the Fae, pacts and contracts and binding, and it flows through this space, and they press it down into this bottle, and this swirling magic literally like becomes visible in the air, and it swirls up and forms like a funnel shaped vortex in the air above this bottle. And then the bottle starts to fill from the bottom up. And when the bottle is mostly full, Conrad, Angel, and Vertisnicken sort of reach over together and the cork into it. And there's almost an intangible shockwave runs through the space. And you actually see the shockwave gently separates the kobolds from the workers. But you also notice the kobolds are a little more solid than they were before. This seems to have like re-anchored them in a way that was missing. You actually see them like become a little, like visibly a little more active, even maybe a little smarter. Those three core ones had been sort of part of the discussion, but Vertisnicken was very much leading it. And the others were still just kind of absently wandering around. But as soon as that anchoring happens, they really sort of click in like, oh, okay, cool. And Vertisnicken, who is now, he's now back to like 7 or 8 feet tall. He's been drinking continuously and eating pizza through all of this, and has swelled back up to like most of his height. And you see him and Angel and Conrad kind of whispering to each other and then talking to the beer saw. Oric, is there something you want to interject?
Yes. Well, the pact has formally been established. I would like to make an offering for the informal sealing of the deal. And I reach into my bag and pull out the green fairy.
Where did
I'm going to
you
put a
go?
pin in that because that will be very disruptive to this next bit. We'll come back to that in like 30 seconds. So they all kind of look at each other and they discuss something and nod. And Vertisnicken reaches out and pulls the now empty bottle and sets it up on the table. And he looks at the others and says, Vertisnicken has decided you are pretty good as humanoid creatures go. This much better pact than what was before. Yes, you blew up some stuff, but mostly turned out good. And Angel hands him one of the last surviving yellow legal pads, and with a surprisingly delicate hand, he writes out this like beautiful calligraphy, just swirling letters, and it's written out in both Sylvan and Common underneath. And it basically says, it lists you all, and it says, our friends of the Bittersall Kobolds and our friends of Vertisnicken. And there is a Sylvan like beer blessing written underneath it. And just like the other, they roll this scroll up. It's pulled with the ribbon, it's sealed. They put it in the old bottle, and the old bottle starts to fill. But as it fills, Lexi, your arm like fully ignites to the shoulder again. And the liquid that fills the bottle, it actually looks like liquid amber fire. And Vertisnicken looks at it and goes, yeah. And same thing, thunk, corks it. And he hands it to you all. And I'm going to drop that in Lexi's inventory.
All right. I mean, I was going to ask if I could frame it and hang it at Lou's.
Hard to frame a bottle, so.
Well, that was before it was a bottle.
You'll probably have to refresh.
Okay.
Also, let's see if this updated as well.
I love shared character sheets. I'm going to go snoop.
Let's see. Inventory, equipment. Yes, beer saw packed brew.
Can we drink it?
No, honey.
That's how you spell beer saw.
Yep, and I'm checking. Also, some of that, as that bottle fills, you actually feel the ancient brewer's mallet kind of like hum a little, and some of that amber fiery liquid is like just a bit is siphoned off and swirls around the head of the brewer's mallet.
All right.
And trying to see if
Oh, good. I was going to invite him to come hang out when he wanted to. So. That works even better.
I'm really confused why. I've built the item and updated it. Your ancient brewer's mallet now also poisons the target on a critical.
Oh,
Lots of fun on critical.
yeah. Does all sorts of fun things on critical.
That's super weird. I can't figure out why it's not showing that because it's correct in the item. Oh, yeah. It adds the line. So you natural 20, extra damage, in addition, the target is poisoned for the duration as the mallet fills them with the disorienting, inebrious aura of the Troll Lord.
Okay.
And for the benefit of folks at home, I will read the Beer Saul Pact Brew. This ornate, glimmering glass bottle contains an unknown alcoholic liquid of Fey origin and a small, tightly rolled piece of paper. It is given to mark the pact between a mortal and the Beer Saul kobolds. Because of the blessing of Vertisnicken, it now burns with an ethereal amber light. The vessel must be placed in a public place of alcohol production or consumption. The vessel passively improves the quality of all alcohol on the premises and absorbs a small amount of energy from imbibers. Once per week, the proprietor of the establishment can pour out some of the bottle's contents and offer the name Vertisnicken as a toast to create a hero's feast. The spirit of Vertisnicken and other phantasmal Fey spirits might occasionally join in any festivities on the premises, though they will only be visible to astute observers or the magically inclined. The proprietor can pour out the contents of the bottle over gold or other treasure to create enchanted alcohols. The liquid dissolves the treasure and imbues magic into the brew. So you can recreate any of the magical brews that you have found so far, basically just by paying their value in gold. Uh, so then Auric passes around a bottle of Green Fairy.
Green Fairy.
Um, with Vertisnicken being there, you see him kind of like calibrating the more damaging effects of the Green Fairy as it's passed around. And so instead of having as much of the bad trip vibe, instead, like the room is just filled with all of these beautiful minor illusions that sort of trail people around. And you see like little patches like around some of the kobolds. It forms like patches of like fey forest. You see strange things that are like graffiti murals brought to life, cartoon animals, just all kinds of strange, but not horrifying images are projected all around. What else would y'all like to do?
Hey, Lexi, is there anything else you want to do?
Not there, no. Are these subpar because I got them with it? She had 2 of them and now she's, yeah.
Our cat is having dental issues, so
Oh,
soaked the hard treats that she loves so they would be easier to eat, but apparently making them soft makes them not as good.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know what the key is. 2 of them I'll have to pick up off the floor.
So I think Vela, 2 things happen with Vela. One, she very quickly, like, she drinks enough to drink like anybody under the table almost immediately. And she doesn't really show much of an ill effect, but she's like rigid armbar locked onto Auric. And like one time you try to like pull away too hard, and like flickering cinders start coming off of her hands, and she just gives you like a very calm look that does not match the like traces of fire magic that are manifesting. But also about 30 or 40 minutes after everything gets going, she's just like fully asleep on your shoulder, but is still like rigidly locked onto your arm.
I guess I live here now.
Cyrus, is there anything you want to do?
I don't think I've got anything else here. I mean, I guess I'll put it back to I'll go back to a coat.
All right. Well, in that case, you did see. Well, we'll save that for later. A good time is had by all. You all are now considered friends of both the Fickle Spirits bar staff, especially the Wirts, and Vertisnicken and the Kobolds. As the evening trails off, Vertisnicken sort of starts to fade into the party a little bit. Like he's still there, but he's less and less manifest. And as the party sort of fully dies down, he's gone. So do you all want to head back to Luz?
Yeah, I gotta go
Absolutely.
put the
Put this bottle in
blessing in the bar.
Put the bar and then put like a glass bell jar over it.
I think it's the enchanted rose from Beauty and the Beast.
But much more drunk. So you all make your way back to Luz. There are going to be some very awkward conversations for a lot of the brewery workers who have basically like not been conscious for 3 months and have literally like just been going to work, and that's it for 3 months. So there will be some awkwardness there and an insurance claim. You gathered that Angel was already concocting some story about fumes from a faulty piece of equipment that had a catastrophic explosion and took out part of the wall, but thankfully no one was hurt, et cetera, et cetera. She's very rapidly figuring out the spin. So you all load back into Pokey. I would say I should add this to your sheet somewhere. Lexi, I think at this point you can just like voluntarily be sober, like on demand. Just
I can see it.
like it's not. I don't know what if it's a class ability or an item or what, but like you just like can walk out the door and just okay, good. So you take at least Auric and Vela are probably a little out of it. I don't know if was Cyrus fully invested in the festivities.
Nope. I still don't think Cyrus probably trusts Vertisticken. So like he's like off in a corner, like still like
Pouting.
like every 10 minutes the like little sip and like still eyeing wherever he is.
At some point you've just got like a bottle with like you've got like a dark bottle with water in it.
Yeah.
You're the straight edge kid at the party. But you all do have the vibe of like you've pretty much seen like the depths of Vertisticken at this point. And Auric, you would know this is very common of like the wild hunt. There are some members of the wild hunt who are more traditional, like manipulative, tricksy fae, but a lot of the wild hunt, especially the more powerful ones, they tend to do like they do one thing, they do it very well. They have very like big personalities built around that one thing, and that's the whole story. Like once you got the pact issue resolved, Vertisticken has no issue with you and is perfectly happy to party.
Not quite one-dimensional, but still, what you see is what you get.
Yeah, very just transparent. Like he tells you exactly what he's thinking and what he's doing. There's no like sneaking, which is part of why Angel took them to the cleaners in that pact contract. There's all kinds of clauses that they'll discover later, like, oh yeah, we probably shouldn't have agreed to that. So I'll make it back to Luz, and I mean it's very late at this point. And it's like a weekday. Luz is kind of clearing out, it's pretty empty. I would say Caleb is probably like bleary-eyed, like closing things down, like cleaning up, moving chairs, all that. And when you all bring the bottle in, there is a burst of light through the room. The fire goes that amber brightness, and there's like sparkling motes of light surrounding this bottle as you bring it into the room. So where are you going to place this bottle?
I was going to put it up on a shelf where it can be displayed, but where it's far enough away. So like over the bar, but not just like mixed in with the spirits, like on one of the higher shelves where like the really fancy stuff that only gets pulled out on special occasions is.
All right. So it goes to the very tippy top of the top shelf. And actually, as you sort of slot it into place, you feel like a resonance running through the room. It's like the magic of the bar has integrated this into itself, and you can actually feel it immediately. Something in the room, like the bottle draws it in a little bit. It literally seems to be like bottling this sort of essence of like table fellowship and companionship and hospitality, like, and you see the liquid inside down at the very bottom. It's flickering just a little bit brighter, and you know that it's starting to build that charge for Hero's Feast.
Okay.
And then he never used a poison enemy against them again. All right. So this puts us back into a little bit more downtime. Probably not quite as long, because I was making a list of all of the dangling plot questions hanging over you all. And man, is that list getting long. Cyrus, I know you texted Alex. Did you get a response from Alex?
I don't think I'd received one yet.
All right.
And then
So-
I can't remember how long it's been. I think Cyrus had also reached out to Jace and maybe Gimbal to try to get a little bit of to like uncover some more of the history on Luz and what we might learn to defend against the cats.
All right. So we'll switch sort of fully into some downtime mode. So things happening in Cyrus's world. Alex message, and you've reached out to Gimbal and Jace about history of Luz / opposing Hawthorne, Allen, Tar, and Smith. All right, what else do y'all want to do? So we're now kind of in montage mode. So time is just sort of gently passing in the background.
So I think what I'm going to be doing with this downtime is I'm going to the Blackthorn Academy to try and figure out meditation techniques to try and contact my Phantom Queen without actually dying.
All right.
Behind you.
So just some general things that happen. Lexi, you continue to receive sort of threatening sounding mail and legal notices and things in relation to this upcoming zoning change. So Cyrus, you still don't hear back from Alex for a while. Not that you all were, like super regularly exchanging messages, but it is kind of veering into like a weirdly long time to not respond. Auric, so you are spending your time researching these techniques. Make an Arcana or religion check with advantage.
All right. Thank goodness for advantage. A 7 is not going to do it.
Oh, for Pete's
But a
sake.
5 is even worse.
That one. There you go. Last one.
So you initially make really good progress. Because you already have an idea of what has allowed you to contact this spirit, you're easily able to zero in on traditions of like near-death states, sort of artificially or in a controlled manner recreating this sort of threshold experience that has enabled you to encounter her. What holds you back is that Vela is helping you up to this point. And she's, again, just still been like the actual like physical, like, you know, hold has not been quite as extreme, but she has just been like noticeably like close a lot. And as soon as you start reading through some of these techniques, I mean, things like one of the first techniques you read is like immersing yourself in freezing water for hours at a time, like and entering like a deep meditative state where your heart only beats like once a minute. And all these warnings pop up like, you know, kids, don't do this at home, you'll die. Vela does not take that well.
Fair enough.
And after you find a couple of these sorts of solutions, she's just like, I'm not going to help you with this if you're going to harm yourself.
The idea is to find a way to do this without harming myself.
Yeah, this communication does not go well. Most of the stuff you come up with is like artificially brushing up against the point of death. It's not great. So that definitely slows you down some. And it also hurts that like a lot of Vela's family is like part of the library staff and like people at the school, and some folks like can't decide if they should help you or not. Like they're like, oh, this is Vela's whatever, if I help him it'll get me in good with her. And then some of them are like, yeah, but isn't she mad at him? And there's this like where they don't quite know what to do. Through all of this, Bernard is sort of gently on your side and is trying to sort of like mend fences for you. Partially because you start to hear whispers that like all of Vela's like classes and things have become much more dangerous while this is going on. So we'll put a pin in that for a second. What else to follow up on? So Cyrus, you get back. So Jace's research underlines some things that you already know. Luz is ancient. There has been a bar, tavern, restaurant, speakeasy. There has been an alcohol serving establishment, a place of like human hospitality in this spot for as far back as records exist. Gimbal gives you a slightly weirder response. One evening, a dead rotting pigeon like smashes up against your window a couple of times, and when you respond to it, it starts to speak in Gimbal's voice and give you some history. Gimbal has surprisingly little about Luz, and he even says, and I'm not doing the voice because even Vertisnicken has worn my voice out a little bit. Gimbal tells you that Luz, his side of things doesn't have very much info about Luz, other than that they all know Luz is protected. Like humanoid fae have an easier time getting into lose, but there's very much a sense of like the spirit of the place seems to actively discern who should and should not be there. And especially, it doesn't seem to do so much with like humans, but fae in particular, who go there who are sort of uninvited, who don't necessarily have good intentions. There's a lot of rumors of them like being harmed by trying to set foot too close to lose. And you get the vibe that it's like, it starts about 15 or 20, 30 feet out from the building. There's definitely weird magic attached to lose. And it's something that is so old and so big. Like, you don't even know what would make that. Like, you sort of get an insight that like lose is this weird, almost like mystery of the city to the fae. And the only things you find sort of comparable, he compares it to like the halls of light have a little bit of that, of like a place that is only like, there's clearly a power at work there. What else would he tell you about lose? I think that might be all he has about lose specifically. So are you laying out sort of what you've learned about Cawthorn, Allen, Tar, and Smith?
To Gimbal?
Yeah.
Yeah. And using, I forget Oric's naming convention, but I'll use it when talking to Gimbal for the Lord.
Oh, for Lambton or the Kate C or
yeah,
oh
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
The unseen
stalker.
Yeah.
Dangerous to use names.
Yes.
Gimbal is surprised by this. He sort of reiterates like he gets like visibly nervous. You can gather Gimbal does not like the idea of the Kate C or anyone affiliated being around. And make an intelligence check.
$15.
You can kind of put together, like, you just encountered a powerful fae who was not supposed to be here and kind of wasn't, but also kind of was. You don't know that the Kate C is using the same method, but it is becoming very clear to you that this story that you have heard, both sort of from like media and from sort of official government sources and even like NBI stuff, the story has always been that there is this rigid barrier and only the people who are supposed to pass between the worlds are able to go between, and they know exactly who they are and everyone's approved in advance. You're discovering that this is certainly more complicated than it's presented.
Dogs.
He might have to put on his collar.
I don't actually remember how that color works.
1 second.
She's eating more than.
This intermission brought to you by a random crystal glass
And Lefroy, because that's what's in the class.
and Lefroy Scotch whiskey from the island of Isla.
It's really good.
What would it be like if you mixed it with LaCroix?
With what?
So yeah, it's very worrying. I mean, you spend a lot of time hanging out with, well, Oric, have you like gone into any detail about your sort of odd immigration status?
I don't know that I have actually. I think I've hinted at it, especially when we talked about going to the embassy and I was hesitant to do so.
Mhm.
Right.
So Lexi, you might have had to intuit this. Cyrus, you could easily put that together with your access to like official documents and know like Warwick is not.
He's undocumented.
Well, that's not entirely true, but there's definitely like there are holes in the paperwork. Like you look at it and you go, this shouldn't have been approved. Like places where certain like supervising bodies and especially on like the FAE side, like places where they were supposed to have signed and they didn't, but somehow it still got processed and he was allowed, because like Oric walked like through the main gate into town, but the underpinnings of that are a question mark, which sort of informs this understanding that the anyway, it's more complicated than you have been led to believe.
Go to the door.
So you don't know what to make of it. Like you experienced the Kate C showing up, or at least some aspect of it in a way that was like, I mean, like legitimately scary. And you haven't actually heard from Mort since then. Like the Kate C interrupted your conversation and it's been, I would say, a week or more now, and Mort has not resurfaced. So Gimbal is alarmed that some aspect of the Kate C is at work in town. He is in no way surprised to hear of feline fae posing as legal experts, because that just seems like something they would do. So Gimbal is able to give you a little bit more insight. So whatever it is that is protecting Luz is remarkably effective against the Fae. But even as it's effective against the Fae, it's only effective in a very like specific literal sense. Like you just sat and watched a Fae pact you just watched a Fae pact being put together, and one that was honestly like less complicated than a lot of them are, but you saw like how very literal the Beersall were about the pact. There's so much wiggle room in a lot of these agreements and treaties and things. There's any number of ways that the Kate Sea could be around, but it's on the counter. Keep going. So if Luz is protecting them from the Fae, from Fae creatures, it's only going to be able to do that for like a Fae creature that walks up to the place and tries to get in. And you've realized like that's only a very small tool in the arsenal of Fae tactics. Jace is more helpful on the legal side of it, in the sense that like all of these like zoning things look legit. Like this does look like a problem. And your suspicion would be that you don't know what Luz might bring to bear against a problem like this, but it certainly seems like it would be more up for grabs than a straight up invasion. This looks like something that could work.
Okay. Cyrus will share that with the group. I don't know that I've got much in the way of what to do about that yet.
I assume this gets shared at Luz.
Know any Fae lawyers? So may need to hire one.
I
Sorry, I'm
mean,
not being busy because I'm looking around going, how did I get in here?
I mean, Oric might actually know like Fae lawyers, like,
Especially since I'm unseelie. Yeah, probably.
um,
I mean, I'm not afraid to hit them with, you know, what they're hitting us with.
The only idea Cyrus has is also just just call their bluff and just walk in the front door and ask what they want and see what happens.
That's not a bad idea.
Remind me what Lambton's aspect is.
Lambton is a river dragon Fae lord.
Okay, good. We don't need to go to him.
Okay. Oh, is that your relative or who you got the letter from? Okay.
That is his feudal lord, basically.
I know that the encounter with him is going to have an eventually, but I want to put it off for as long as possible.
Okay.
Question number one is, do I know any Fae lawyers? Question number two is, would they work with us against the Lord of the Cats?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could, be bold, walk right in.
I mean, I have a pretty big guess as to what they want. They want the book. That's my guess.
Maybe.
I mean, having Luz, no matter what, would be quite a feather in their cap. You know.
So is the book still here then?
Yeah, the book is still in my office. It's still in the it's still in the thing. the vault safe, whatever that thing is. It's not really a vault. That's a little too big.
So you do have those up there, which you have not investigated them since you placed them there originally.
Yeah. That's right, because the rod is in there too, isn't it? Is there a way for us to look at the book without what happening to you last time happening again?
I was about to say Vela's gonna get mad at me.
I was gonna say I probably need to take a long rest before I look at the book.
Well, it's been several
Oh, yeah.
Oh, has it? Oh,
Yeah, we're in sort of amorphous downtime zone.
right.
So these things might not even be happening like in this order.
okay.
Only where it is causally important are they linear. Otherwise, they are, however to each other.
Around as the ideas come to us, basically. Okay.
It also could be if Luz has got some sort of protection thing that if we research it inside Luz,
That's a good point.
we might
We have to
be
look
less
into-
susceptible to
Yeah.
stuff that happens.
So are we gonna try that then?
Sure, let's try it.
Or do we want to? I mean, are we in a rush? What's our what's the time what's the timeline on this suit? Is that like the pressing thing we have to deal with next, or it is a thing happening that we're going to have to address at some point, but it's the legal system, it's going to take a while?
It still seems like it's going to take a little bit.
Okay.
This was sort of it has moved into like basically like out of committee. And it is sort of on the docket. Public comments are being allowed, and at some meeting in like, we'll say 6 to 8 weeks, an actual decision will be made that will be very hard to undo at that point.
Okay. So I just wasn't sure if there were any other like more mundane avenues of research we could poke before.
Well, and you all have talked about Fey lawyers. There are also just like humanoid lawyers, like human lawyers.
That's true.
That's true. More likely to work with us than Faye, simply because
That's true.
Lord of the Cats.
Yeah. I just figured having somebody who understood Faye.
And you just need to know somebody who won't get confused by a complicated contract.
All right. So that's what I need to find in a lawyer. That is, no big, well, I guess lawyers should just be good at contracts.
Lawyers,
so.
especially contract lawyers.
All right, so contract and zoning lawyer, like that's 2 different types of lawyers. Now the funny part is like in real life, I know exactly who to call. No kidding. Ed Daly.
Meanwhile, I've just realized that from now on, instead of calling him the Lord of the Cats, I'm going to call him Old Deuteronomy.
Call him what?
Instead of being the Lord of the Cats, he is now Old Deuteronomy.
That's too nice of a name for him.
But he was the Lord of the Cats.
Yeah, but he was a nice cat. He wasn't evil. This is more like Macavity. This is like Macavity took over poor old Deuteronomy. Like that one scene in Act 2.
So, contract / zoning lawyer.
Yeah.
So this would just be a simple investigation or you could use a technology check to help you kind of get advantage on that. But yeah, I mean, this is like Googling, like, zoning process defense.
I got a 15 on my tech check.
I got a 19 on my tech check.
All right, roll investigation with advantage.
Got a 23 on my tech.
All right,
All right.
roll with advantage.
Oh, that's a nat 20.
Nice.
Beautiful, beautiful. So 23 total.
All right. So with that roll,
I also got 23.
all right.
I found the law firm of Dobson, Orwell, Giffords, and Smith.
Do they work in contracts? Because that would be hilarious.
So so you all come up with several different names, but Lexi, with a natural 20, you actually find like one of your, not like super regulars, but someone who is a frequent patron of the bar, is actually a lawyer, and this is one of their areas of specialty.
All right.
Well, isn't that convenient?
Yeah.
You want to keep drinking here? Help us out.
Yeah. And guess what? You might have heard Blues is in danger of being forced closed.
And we're not asking you to work pro bono, but if you wanted to work pro bono,
We'll definitely pay you, but wonder if Yurishnikin could help us intimidate the Lord of the Cat.
intimidate? No.
Well, maybe instead of intimidate, we could threaten them with Yurishnikin. If you win, you have to deal with him. He comes with the place.
He comes with the building, yeah.
All right. So some other things that happen. So you're able to reach out. I'll call that an off session thing. If you want to put a name and some traits to this lawyer, well, we'll make that the canonical legal expert for you all. So Auric, not while you're at Lose, but when you are sitting at home at some point during this downtime. So we established that the letter you received from Lambton, something happened to it when you brought it to Lose that caused it to like lose consistency and come apart.
Yeah, it turned into like confetti.
What did you do with it after that?
That's a good question. I think I probably just threw it in the trash.
That would have been really interesting if you took it back outside, see what happened. Did it reassemble or what?
No. Get rid of it.
That's true.
You don't know exactly whether it's the same letter or it's been reconstituted or it's a new version. A copy of the same letter is sitting on the counter in your apartment one evening when you come home.
Inside the apartment.
Mm-hmm. And it's worded exactly the same. Also, you get a phone call from an unknown number.
Oh, fun. You let it go to voicemail. Be a good millennial.
End call.
They don't immediately leave a voicemail. They don't call back. They just, that was weird.
I'm not giving you my social security number. I don't even have one.
The IRS doesn't want me. They're not coming to arrest me.
Um,
Well, I take the new letter and try and scratch it to pieces, and presumably it still doesn't work.
Take it to loose, turn it into
Try-
confetti again.
Trying to gnaw it to pieces, and presumably it still doesn't work. Hurts a tooth.
so in sort of the same vein, nothing works until you take it to lose, at which point it comes apart. But the next night, you have another one. Cyrus, some point during this week, probably like super stupid late, like 2:00 in the morning, you get a text message back. It's from Alex, and all it says is, "Where's Mort?"
Cyrus will text back. Only in person. I have a place. Or your suggestion.
You see one of those, like, it's like message read, typing, erasing, pause, typing, erasing, pause. Need more ASAP. Period. Are you sure? Have to meet? Question mark.
Regarding Mort, yes.
There's a very long pause, and after a while it finally just comes back. Fine. So where do you set up this meeting?
So Cyrus will offer Luz.
You can offer a private room and not downstairs at the bar if you need it.
So there's a little bit of finagling back and forth. Alex only wants to meet like super late / into early in the morning.
Okay.
That's fine.
Do you have a description for Alex?
Let's see, what do I have for Alex? So I imagine Alex has a very like punk / like skater kind of aesthetic. Probably at least one full sleeve tattoo, piercings, cropped hair, and being non-binary, they them. They kind of clothing just kind of nondescript in that sense. Not really emphasizing one way or another in that.
Jeans and a t-shirt kind of look.
Yeah.
So this is going to be very confusing. So you arrange this time. You're at Lou's, and the time is getting close, and they haven't appeared yet. Lexi, make a perception check.
19.
You're there, and you know that Auric is, or not Auric, sorry, you know that Cyrus is waiting for someone. And as you're standing there, it kind of occurs to you, like, you got like a weird something from Lou's a little while ago, like, and it's taken a while to kind of process that that's what it was. So Cyrus, where are you like sitting in Lou's while you wait?
I vote for downstairs by the fire, because if it's the middle of the night, then you and I are the only ones in the building. So
yeah, I mean, is there? I guess the question would be: is that if there's an entrance down there? If there's a whatever entrance Cyrus has told Alex to come to,
yeah.
he's sitting with his eye on that.
So normally the bar would be pretty empty at this point. I don't know that does Lou's have like an actual like on off like indicator of some kind?
Yeah, I guess it would, because I don't intend it to be a 24-hour bar. It does actually close. So, yeah, and I would imagine we're probably closed right now, because that would be something I could offer Cyrus if Alex feels the need to come when there's not going to be other people around.
So it's getting very late. It's getting close to when you're going to close. And one of the patrons gets up and sort of goes off to the bathroom, and you don't see them again for a while. It's finally like time you're actually going to like close up. And Cyrus, you're sitting there waiting, and Lexi, this person comes out from the bathroom, and it's not one of your regulars. In fact, it's very visibly not one of your regulars. Make an insight check.
17.
Oops, give me a roller. This person is radiating Nalt Manfur like True Light vibes. Like sort of not like buzz cut, like conservative short haircut, like doing kind of like the jacket and button down kind of vibe. No visible tattoos.
Important question before you continue. Do they look the same coming out of the bathroom as they did when they came in, when they went in?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure they did not change appearance while in the bathroom.
And this person comes out and what do you do?
How do I politely word this? That's my gut reaction. Did you fall in?
There's a little bit of a chuckle, like, no, I just had to kill some time. I'm meeting somebody.
Who are you meeting?
They point over at Cyrus.
So your name might be, because I'm trying to make sure that this is Alex. I'm a little curious here.
Make a persuasion check.
Roll a 4.
You get kind of like an impenetrable response as far as like mannerisms and sorry, say again, what was your question? So I make sure I phrase
said,
it correctly.
Who might you be? I was asking what they're asking for their name.
They put out a hand. Shane Allowan.
I don't shake.
All right.
I just nod and say, all right. So here's my thought though. Would Alex know, like, because I don't know if this person is Alex. I'm a little suspicious of that, but would Alex be suspicious of me? Because I don't know Alex. I never met the person.
So there's kind of this like long awkwardness, and they just kind of like, okay, and start like walking over to where Cyrus is sitting.
Okay, I let them go. But I kind of do one of these numbers, even if they don't see it behind their back.
So Cyrus, this person approaches and sits down, and you would notice this. They sit in such a way that their back is to Lexi, so that only you can kind of see them. And there's a weird moment where, well, what is Cyrus thinking at this moment?
Because I don't recognize this person.
You do not recognize this person, and even down to like the body type and facial structure is not correct. Like if you had to put a label on it, this is a very specifically like masculine skewing person who has come and sat at your table.
Yeah. So Cyrus will like look up and just show me the scar before we talk.
So specify which scar. This is the DM asking.
Yeah. So what are we gonna? Oh, I'm gonna say this is gonna be from one of their, from when they were from their They're hooligan days. And Alex has a like crescent moon scar that they incorporated into their sleeve tattoo. And so you really got to know what you're looking for in order to know it's there and to know where it's from.
Ooh. So you see a moment of hesitation, and there's a very clear like looking around, and then only there's no move to like show the sleeve, but not even the hair, but just the face blurs, and it's very clearly Alex's face. And Alex leans in and says, I need to see Mort right now. And then the next sentence sounds like nonsense. It is a very obscure, very like highly authoritative NBI passphrase associated with Mort. And that's where we'll pick up next week.
Right.
Dun, dun, dun.
All will be explained. All right. Well, I'm going to eat that Chick-fil-A that got delivered like a really long time ago now. So I'm going to go ahead and kill a recording. Bye, Internet.